So now what we need to do is that we need to create our first Kivy file. And we need to understand the relationship between Python and Kivy. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is that I'm going to create a new file here. And then this file, I'm going to name this file main.kivy. And this file must be named main. Why? The answer is it must match the first part of the class name, the prefix of the class name. So here the first part or the prefix is main. So the Kivy file must be named main.kivy. And this Kivy file is used to kind of create the user interface, whereas Python is responsible for the logic. So you can think of Kivy as the file that stores the user interface. Now, in order to run our application, in order to let our application let Python talk to Kivy, we need here in the class translate that into code, and we need to do that in the class. So to do that in the class, first of all, you need to understand and know two functions. Basically, the main class must have two functions. The first function is called build, and the second function is called onStart. OnStart. So the build function is used to build is going to be called upon running our application. When we run our application, this function is going to be run and it's going to build our application. The onStart function is going to be called to whenever the application starts. So it's kind of the application life cycle. You can think of them as two important functions that get called whenever the application gets started, or when the application starts. So we need to create these two functions. So the first function that I'm going to create is called the build. The build again is called to build the application. And of course, since we are in a class, it must take the self. And then inside that function, what we need to do is that we need to talk to Kivy, because as I told you, Kivy is responsible for the user interface. It's going to return the user interface. So here in the Kivy file, what we need to do is that we need to create our main UI widget. So Kivy is going to consist of many widgets, and we need to create our main widget. So to create a widget in Kivy, we need to use the angular brackets, and then we need here to give a name to that widget. So I'm gonna name my first widget main widget, and then here colon. And then inside that we can add the user interface, and I'm gonna work on that later. For now, what we need to do is that we need to talk to Kivy to return the user interface. So here in this build function, we need to say return, and then we need to get the main widget, because the main widget is going to contain the user interface. So here I'm going to say here in the main app, I'm going to say return, and then I'm going to return the main widget from Kivy. So here I'm going to say return, and then I'm going to say main widget, main widget, main widget. But you might be wondering now, where is the main widget? We are here returning the main widget. But where is the main widget? Well, we need to create that main widget here as well, because every widget that you have here in Kivy must have a class in the Python file, must have a corresponding class in Python. So here we created a widget called main widget, and in Python we need to create that class. We need to say here class, and then main widget, and then we can add here code, and or we can say pass, because pass means that we aren't going to do anything here. There is no logic. There's only a user interface. There's only something to be seen by the user, but there is no logic here for this widget. But this is how it works. So again, to recap, whenever you create a widget in Kivy, you must create a class corresponding to it, a corresponding class. And to run your application, you must have this function. And this function build is gonna be available in any Kivy application. You must have a build function, and it must return the main widget. Let me save everything now, and now we have the basic code that we need in order to run our Kivy application.